How you doing, everybody? Welcome to another Let's Play of Steins Gate Zero, live and exclusive to YouTube. I'm your host, Swishbone, for the remainder of the evening. For those of you who have been here before, for the likes of Steins Gate Zero, Steins Gate Duology, we were here for all the Persona, all the Danganronpa. Perhaps you were here for Song of Memories, or even the weird ones such as Final Fantasy VII and Doki Doki Literature Club. Thank you very much. A huge welcome back to all of you, including you, Queen, who's jumped in already, saying, actually, early for once. Well, early bird catches the worm, or in this case, catches my stream. Thank you all very much, all you people out there who've checked this before. Without you guys, there is no channel. And for those of you who've never seen this before, this is all about playing games blind, having fun, live reactions, terrible jokes, and general banter in the comments. And the chat box is open. You can follow Queen's lead. If you want to get any comments in there, I'll do what I can to interact. So, let's pick things up from the last stream a couple of days ago, where we had that really rather epic fight in the laboratory between a biker and a very angry, very clean member of the lab. Let's put it that way without lowering the tone too much. And now, we're going to find out exactly what the fallout from this is as we carry on in the chapter called Gehenna's Stigma. Let's go. When July came, the sun shone down even harder on eastern Japan. Summer was truly here. The news had been saying for days that the heat island effect might make this the hottest summer in years. And then, on the first Sunday in July, I met with Maho in Akihabara. I was waiting at the open cafe at the UPX when Maho arrived. She was a little late, and noticed how she's no longer got the jacket on. Instead, she's got like a very, almost like a one-piece kind of dress kind of style. And I'm actually surprised that she's here. Yes, bare-fisted. Indeed, it was a bare-knuckle brawl. Meanwhile, Avian jumping in saying, hi, good evening to you, how are you doing?
Okabe-san!
Akabe! It's been a while. She ordered a nice coffee and took a deep breath. But you know, we talk to each other all the time on video chat. That's right. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Avian, it's timeline 1.475741. I don't know. Maybe by getting my coffee 5 minutes before stream, I altered the world line, and that's why Queen's here on time. Her habit of paying no attention to her clothes or her looks hadn't changed at all in the last 6 months. People were going to think she was an elementary school kid who decided to go play at a friend's house. But it would upset her if I said that, so I never would. Meanwhile, Snowy was jumping in asking how's it going. It's going great, mate. How are you doing? Having fun, taking it easy, I assume? It's all going great here. And Chaotic writing hi to you as well in the chat. It's all arriving at once, I'm liking this. Nice swarm into the box, that's fantastic. I had no idea you were here. If I hadn't happened to see Dr. Leskinen, I never would have found out. And I'm a bit intrigued as to why Maho's here, because last time we saw her, she seems to be in a bit of a situation. Makes me wonder if there's been some reprogramming going on. I'm just going to contact you once things calm down. We need to talk to each other about Chris at some point, eventually. You'll hear about the new encephalitis cases. I agree, Chaotic, yes. Gehenna's Stigma. Very ominous. All fine, all smooth. That's a Leskinen is, at least. I'm his assistant, but I'm mostly in charge of Amadeus. Have there been any problems? I assume not, since I'm still getting my usual reports. Yeah, nothing really. Ah, cool, Snowbaby, you're having fun with Slay the Spire. What kind of game is that? It sounds almost like a Metroidvania. And I see those zip lips there, Queen. Very good of you. No spoilers.
最近はクリスの相手をするのに苦労してるけどな。
And that goes for everybody else, by the way, who's watching this. Please don't spoil it. There's people in the chat and myself who haven't played the game. Don't be that individual. Like that idiot who invaded, what was it, Persona 3. Spoiled a part of the game that involved my choices, shall we say. Yes, we were all unimpressed. Lately, it's been a struggle to deal with Krista, though.
ちょっと
Hey. I heard a voice from my smartphone, which I placed on the table.
苦労ってどういう意味？
What do you mean by struggle? I'd left the Amadeus app turned on. Of course, Makise could hear everything we said.
最初に会った頃よりちょっと口調がきつくなってきてる気がする。
She's gotten a little ruder since we first met.
あんたが勝手に私にビビってるだけでしょ？
You're just afraid of me for no reason, is all. Now, I agree with you, Avian. Literally, because considering the way that Maho's part ended, and obviously what happened at the end of the last stream, mind control or some kind of alterations definitely seems to be on the cards here. But we're still early yet. At least I think we are, anyway.
かもな。
Maybe. It was turning into our old relationship in the Alpha World line, where we'd fought all the time. I was starting to lose track of whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. I thought I was trying to forget about Makise.
キアジョーさんは初めて会った時の方が口調はきつかったな。
You were pretty rude when we first met.
あれは
That was...
初対面の人には先輩はきついのよ。なぜかというと
She's rough on people when she meets them for the first time. You know why?
年相応に見てもらえないから。
Right, I can't read that in both voices, so I'm going to choose Maho's. Because they refuse to treat me like I'm my age. The two of them spoke in unison. Ah, right, yeah, so I don't have Xbox, unfortunately, Snowbeaver, so I'm afraid that's not possible for me to play. And again, I don't want to get it on PC because it's too expensive. But it sounds cool. Definitely sounds like a cool game.
だからついカリカリしちゃうのよ。
So we always get upset.
ある程度親しくなれば容姿のことも言われなくなるでしょ。だから心穏やかに話せるというだけ。
Once I get to know someone, they stop talking about my appearance, right? So I can speak more normally around them. I guess I was right not to comment on her outfit. That was a close call.
アマデウスの話に戻すけど、
Anyway, back to Amadeus.
クリスの口調がきつくなったというのは面白い兆候だわ。
It's an interesting sign that Carissa is developing a bit of a sharp tongue.
私や教授の前では見せない一面なわけでしょ。
It's a side of me she never shows the professor or me, right?
それだけ深く心を開いているとも言えるかもしれない。
That may be a sign of how much she's opened up to you.
開いてません。
I have not. Maho simply smiled and ignored her.
そうした心の動きをプログラムとして解析できるから。
We can analyze those psychological changes as code. Major alert. Major alert. Psychological changes as code. Yes. I'm gonna find my prop. If not, it's not gonna work, this joke. Here we are. I'm putting the gun on the shelf.
私や教授と話しているだけでは決して見られなかった変化だわ。
This is a change we never would have seen if she'd only been speaking to me and the professor.
それだけで岡部さんにテストを続けてもらった価値もあるというものよ。
That alone means we were right to keep you on as a tester.
そんなものか。
Is that how it works? Oh, that's on PSN, is it, Snowbeaver? Right, I'll take a look out for that, because it might possibly come on in the cheap sales.
レスキネン教授もその点を高く評価していたわ。
That's Aleskinen was very impressed by this too.
過大評価だと思いますが、
I think you're giving it too much credit.
実際 私と話す時も文句や愚痴が多いですし、あまり男らしくないというか。
In fact, whenever he talks to me, he's always complaining. He's not very manly, you know. I mean, she isn't wrong. He is a bit mopey at the moment. Understandably so. Well, I knew my personality had gone a bit negative. Especially given what I've been through. But did she really need to say that to Maho right now? An eye for an eye it is then.
ちなみに今まで報告していなかったことがあるんだが。
By the way, there's something I hadn't told you yet.
何かしら。
What is it?
これはおそらくヒアジョーさんやレスキネン教授も把握していないことだと思う。
It's something I don't think you or Dr. Leskinen are aware of.
待って。あんた、何の話をしようとしてるの？
Wait, what are you going to tell her?
真帆先輩や教授が把握していないことって？私についての？
Something Maho and the professor don't know. About me?
栗ご飯とカメハメハといえばわかるか？
Does the phrase Curry Gohan and Kamehameha mean anything to you? Hey! A few weeks ago, I'd actually searched for Curry Gohan and Kamehameha on a whim. It was the handle Kurisu had used on @channel when she was still alive. Oh, he actually found the handle. Oh, dude, dick move. Never out anybody. Dick move. To out somebody online is majorly uncool. So of course a handle, an online nickname. Rare people see use online nicknames on boards like @channel. For a user who does not pick a username, they simply show as anonymous. From what I'd seen, the comment started in the summer of 2008, then abruptly stopped in 2010. And then started up again in December of that same year. Even now, in July 2011, they were still appearing. If it wasn't Kurisu's ghost, and it wasn't an imposter, then the one who could be writing these posts was...
岡部倫太郎さん、ちょっと二人だけで話をしましょうか。
Okabe Rintaro. Why don't we have a private chat?
やっぱりお前の仕業だったか。
So it was you after all. Right, is that what that's a reference to? Because when I saw the names I thought I should know what it is, but I don't know why. That explains it. I'm one of maybe 5 people who's in the anime weeb fandom who knows nothing about Dragon Ball Z. Apart from the horrendously overused 9000 joke. And I don't even know that because of DBZ either. It's because I've seen it used in far too many memes. And we can definitely tell that she's not pleased. I mean, look at that classic frown. We've definitely seen that before, haven't we?
さすがに黙っているのはまずいんじゃないか。
Don't you think it's a bad idea not to tell them?
真帆先輩に報告するなんてもっとまずいわよ。
It's an even worse thing to tell Maho.
なんで？
Why?
私がアートチャンネルを見てることは一言も教えてないからに決まってるでしょ。
Because I haven't breathed a word to her about me going on @channel.
堂々としていればいいじゃないか。アットチャンネルを見るのも書き込むのも別に犯罪じゃないんだし。
Why hide it? It's not a crime to read or comment on @channel. I mean, it kind of is. When you out yourself as someone who hangs around the message boards all day, people just go, get out. Or is that just me? Is that what people say to me? Yeah, it's what people say to me.
そうだろ？アットチャンネラークリス。
Isn't that right? @channeler Kurisu.
あったね。次にその呼び方したらあることないことアットちゃんに書き込んでやるわよ。
Listen, call me that one more time and I'll start making a gossip about you on @channel.
それこそ犯罪一歩手前の行為だろう。
That's practically a crime, though. So Gohan's formerly the worst character. The former worst. They've been reprieved somehow, I guess. And Kamehameha is a signature attack of the main character. Right, okay, fair play. Makes sense now. I couldn't help but laugh. Conversations like this brought back so many memories. I used to be so full of myself that I'd tick Karisu off all the time.
ねえ、一体何の話？
Hey, what are you talking about?
何でもありません。気にしないでください。海馬からきれいさっぱり今日の記憶を葬り去ってください。
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Delete all your memories of today from your hippocampus, please. I suppose it does depend on the thread you're commenting on, Queen. You're not wrong, actually. I tend to go for the worst ones.
隠していたっていつかはバレるぞ。
You can hide it, but she's going to find out eventually.
あんたはいいから黙りなさい。
You just shut up.
やっぱりあなたたち、半年前よりずっと仲良くなっているわね。
You two have gotten a lot closer over the last 6 months.
先輩、すみません。
Maho, I'm sorry.
どうして謝るの？
Eh? Why are you apologizing?
いえ、せっかく岡部と真帆先輩久々に会ったのに、私ばかり話してしまって。
No, just... It's been so long since you and Akabe have seen each other, and I'm doing all the talking. And again, yeah, exactly, Chaotic. I was thinking that. Deletes all your memories. I'm like, Again, let me reload it. The gun's on the shelf, people.
というわけで、あとはお二人でごゆっくりどうぞ。
Why don't you two take some time and chat?
別にそんなつもりで言ったんじゃないわよ。
That's not what I meant.
それもこれも、岡部が変なことを言い出したせいね。
It's Akabe's fault for saying something weird, isn't it?
そうなのか。栗ご飯とカメハメハ。
Is that true? Curry Gohan and Kamehameha.
お願いだから言わないで。
Please don't say that. Just like the real Kurisu, she was strangely obsessed with hiding the fact that she was an app channeler.
ちょっと頭を冷やしたいので、一度切りますね。失礼します。
I need to go cool off a little, so I'm going to hang up. Bye. Yes, Chaotic, has she forgotten the Lescan thing? There's the question. Kurisu disappeared from the screen. She had been kind of rude lately, so it felt good to have a chance to get back at her. If I overdid it, she was probably going to hold a grudge, so this was likely a good place to stop.
栗ご飯って何なのよ。
What's Kiri Gohan?
どうしても知りたかったらクリスに聞いてくれ。
If you really want to know, ask Kurisu. If I explained it, she'd probably get mad and refuse to speak to me again.
それで今回はどれぐらいの間こっちに滞在することになりそうなんだ？
So how long are you going to be staying here?
前よりも長くなるかもしれないわね。
It might be longer than last time.
レスキネン教授が研究している新型脳炎は未だに詳しいことがほとんど分かっていないようだから。
We barely know anything about the new encephalitis Dr. Leskinen is researching.
もしかしたら私だけ先に帰らされる可能性もあるけど。
It's possible that I'll be sent back on my own, too. Yeah, I suppose Akabe's gotten used to the bus, hasn't he, Queen? He seems to be like the victim of all the sass. But then again, I suppose he's the author of his own misfortune, considering he tried to poke the hornet's nest. You poke a hornet's nest, you will get stung.
時間があったらラボにも顔を出してみるといい。ダルやマユリもきっと喜ぶはずだ。
If you've got time, visit the lab. I'm sure Daru and Mayuri would love to see you. I'm trying to think. Kuri it's not a Japanese word I know personally. I know furi is, because it's a form of cold. I'm not sure about Kuri though. I mean, because Gohan is like breakfast, so Kuri like, I don't know, abbreviation maybe. Like she's calling herself the name, because like Asa Gohan is breakfast and like Bangahan is evening, so maybe she's like making it herself, maybe. Well, someone called Tabitha Hudson's gone Vark Tech in the comments. Good evening to you. I hope that's not a spoiler you just dropped there. Please don't be a spoiler.
まゆりさんはともかく橋田さんはどうかしら。
Mayuri, sure, but I don't know about Hashida. Maho was finally starting to understand Daru's true nature. Speaking of Daru, he should be on a date with Amani Yuki right now.
ちなみにクリスのノート PC はその後どうしたの？
By the way, what happened to Karisa's laptop? Avian, Gohan does mean rice. However, if you actually go by the meals in Japanese, it forms the words for them. So Asa Gohan is like breakfast, as in like first thing in the morning, and Bangahan is evening, Kongahan is lunch. So it's just the way they take, like, because like rice is such a staple part of the food in Japan, it's pretty much goes with anything over there, they eat it with almost anything. So I think it's literally just, that's why it forms the word.
あれは破棄したよ。
I destroyed it.
それが一番いい判断だったんだ。前にそう話しただろう。
It was the best thing to do. I explained that to you before, didn't I? And that doesn't make sense because it destroyed the laptop and it had a lot of information about time travel. That would have caused the D-mail to go back and change the timeline, surely.
そうね。
Yeah, you're right. She looked down, a sad expression on her face. I told her I was going to do it ahead of time, but it still must have upset her to see one of the last things she had to remember Kurisu by destroyed. Oh, now we're back to Suzuha again. We're back to Best Girl. Yes, Chaotic, there's the chaos that brings in. The military guys aren't going to get the time travel. That's the end of it. I'd hope that's true, actually. It'd be nice for them not to get it. About half the seats at Go-Go Curry were full. It was Sunday, but it was also after 2 p.m, and so the lunchtime rush was over. Suzuha was sitting at the restaurant's far edge, a baseball cap pulled down over her face. She was hiding, carefully watching a couple sitting nearby. Oh god, he didn't bring Yuki to Go-Go Curry, did he, for a date? Are you kidding me? Of all the places to go. Here you are, you're Major Curry. Major Curry. Yeah, probably just a popular dish. Yeah, one of the items on Go-Go Curry menu consists of an extra large portion of rice, a pork loin katsu, chicken katsu, hot dogs, fried shrimp with... and a but... Why would you have pork loin, chicken, hot dogs, and then shrimp with tartar sauce and curry? Daru, what the fuck are you doing? A cheerful employee put down 2 giant silver plates, or trays more accurately, in front of them. Suzuha could see the other customers looking at them and whispering. The couple really stood out, after all. The man was a giant, who looked like he ate Major Curry all the time, but the woman was slim, pretty, and looked very kind. The combination of huge man and slim woman was as unbalanced as the combination of pretty girl and Major Curry. Oh, come on! Dave, Dick, move! How dare you say that couples must be of their own size and style? Fucking shame on you! How dare you! And as you say, Queen, yep, you thought that it was hard to make curry taste nasty, you bookie lied? Best DR2 girl lied, I can't believe I'm just saying that live on the stream. The Major Curry was big. No, it was huge! Suzuha knew from experience. The massive silver trays were loaded with rice and curry and topped with 2 fried cutlets, fried shrimp, sausage, a boiled egg and a mountain of cabbage. There was 2 or 3 times as much curry as you'd find in a normal dish, and the toppings were just as big. Even a growing young boy would find it hard to eat them all. maybe a team of growing young boys. One growing young boy would not put all that away. And I know, because I used to eat like a horse. Suzuha was irritated.
一体なんで初デートの昼食がメジャーカレーなんだよ、お父さん。
Why are you ordering major curry on your first date with her, Dad? Oh. This game gets worse. Game. Bigger girls, bigger guys get together with slimmer girls, slimmer guys all the fucking time. It's not 1971 anymore. Catch the fuck up. The Beauty and the Beast couple that Suzuha was watching, of course, was Itaru and Yuki. In the morning they'd gone to see a movie in Yurakucho, then they'd come to Akihabara and gone straight to Go-Go Curry. I mean, movie, curry. Take away all the extra needless toppings and you've actually got a fantastic date there. Suzuha had followed them the whole time. That's why she couldn't believe Itaru's choice of date spots.
私はゴーゴーカレーでも全く問題ないけど、というかむしろ好きな方だけど。
I don't mind Go-Go Curry at all. In fact, I love it, but... And yes, she said ski, so that's love, really, in that context. She wouldn't say like it.
せっかくの初デートなんだから、もうちょっと他に選択肢もあるだろう。
This is your first date. There are other places you could have gone. She clutched her spoon tight and gritted her teeth. Suzuha knew next to nothing about Japanese youth culture in 2011. And even she knew it was a bad idea. Who knew what was going through Yuki's mind? Or so Suzuha thought. But...
うわー、写真よりもすごいですね。
Wow, it's even more amazing than the pictures. Surprisingly, Yuki was ignoring the people around her and innocently enjoying the huge curry. As I say, it takes all sorts.
アマネシ、もし食べきれなかったら、僕が食べてあげるですから。
Amanishi, if you can't eat it all, I'll finish up for you, okay?
はい、ありがとうございます。けど、これでも私、結構いけるんですよ。
Okay, thank you. But I'm actually pretty good at this. And yeah, Avian, I was trying to ignore it. I was trying to blot it out of my mind. That face. Although I must say, I kind of like the unintentional Easter egg to Final Fantasy VII here, with the save point. I don't think that's what it's meant to be, but it's still cool.
そうですか。びっくりです。
Yeah? That's a surprise.
実はいつもお店の外でメニューだけ見てて、一度食べてみたかったんですよね。
I actually would always just come and look at the menu outside. I always wanted to try this.
連れてきてもらえて嬉しいです。
I'm glad you brought me here.
それは実に良かったです。
I'm glad to hear it. Huh? Suzuha had evidently worried over nothing. But still she realised that Itaru was acting strangely. It's his first ever date, Suzuha. I don't remember mine for a reason. Ever since he'd come out of the movie theatre, he was walking and talking strangely. Instead of his usual hunched posture, he was forcing himself to stand up straight. His every movement seemed oddly forced, as if he were a broken robot. And he downed glass after glass of water. Evidently so, Avian, yeah, wanted to try the major curry. It's like, it's interesting to say the least.
あ、ごめんなさい。私にもお水のおかわりを。
Oh, I'm sorry. May I have some more water too?
はい、どうぞ。
Huh? Oh, sure.
ありがとうございます。
thank you. Itaru poured water into Yuki's cup. Scissor had a bad feeling. And she was right. Itaru was moving so awkwardly that he almost spilled water on her hand. Now you see, that's fine. I was thinking he was going to spill it somewhere else, and that would have been a major no-no. Yeah.
大丈夫ですか?
Are you okay?
ちょっと手が濡れただけですから。それより早く食べましょう。
My hand just got a little wet. Anyway, let's eat before it gets cold, okay? Yuki quickly wiped down the table with her handkerchief and grabbed her fork and spoon. There were stars in her eyes. Oh, that was right at the wrong button there, people.
それじゃあいただきます。
Okay, let's eat.
いただきます。
Let's eat! Yuki seemed to be really enjoying her meal, but Itaru was very formal and quiet. He was taking little nibbles out of a piece of fried cutlet, like a squirrel eating a nut. I really can't picture that. I'm sorry, I can't picture Daru doing this. Nah, no way. That's just not going to work. The whole time they weren't saying a word, because they're eating.
一体何をやってるんだ父さんは。あんなんじゃ母さんに愛想つかされちゃうよ。
What are you doing, Dad? Mom's not gonna want to be around you if you're like that. She decided to send him a message online telling him to get his act together. And she'd just taken out her phone when...
はい、メジャーカレールーマシお待たせしました。
Here's your major curry with extra roux. Huh? A huge plate was laid on the table in front of her. The other customers started murmuring again. Is the motorcycle girl Kagari nearby, I wonder? Come to think of it, when she'd fallen into the store, she'd ordered her usual major curry with extra roux and then forgotten about it. Now everybody was going to focus on her. In a small shop like this, it was suicide.
あら?
Huh? Just as she expected, her eyes met Yuki's. Oh, Scissor. Number one rule. Never get too close to your target.
鈴葉さん、いたんですか?
Scissor, I didn't realize you were here. And Daru's like, the fuck are you doing? Fucking go, get out of here, go away, now, get out, get out, get out. Pull out, alert. Mayday, abort, and all the usual military terms. Oh,
偶然だね、ユキさん、兄さん。
Yeah, what a coincidence seeing you here, Yuki, brother. I'm now picturing someone walking around Kichijoji holding a book, going, what a coincidence, every time they were talked to.
声かけてくれればよかったのに。
You just said something.
いや、気がつかなかったんだよ、全然。
No, I didn't even notice you, really. She realised that she should probably leave. Was she going to go with at least taking a bite of the major curry in front of her? Her experiences in the war had left her completely unable to waste food. It's a good strategy. She felt Yuki and Itaru staring at her as she reluctantly picked up her spoon.
とまあ、そういうことなんで、二人ともごゆっくり。
Anyway, yeah, you two enjoy yourselves. Her only choice was to finish her extra large curry as soon as possible. She couldn't let herself be in the way. But instead, Yuki came over and picked up Scissorhar's plate.
あ、
Huh?
すみません、店員さん。お友達なんですけど、席を移ってもいいでしょうか。
Excuse me, can my friend sit with us? Oh dear. Too bad, Scissorhart. You blew this one.
ぞ。
Sure, go ahead.
OK ですって一緒に食べましょうよ
He says it's okay. Let's all eat together.
ちょっとなんで
Wait. Why?
なんでってほら鈴葉さんもメジャーカレーじゃないですかこれはぜひ勝負せねばと思って
Why? Because you ordered major curry too. I think we need to have a race.
はあ
Huh?
審判は橋田さんにやってもらいましょう
Hashida can be the judge. Okay, it's competitive eating moment, I guess. This is a bit crazy. Meanwhile, Alistair Jack jumping in. Hi, and how are we doing so far? Doing so far great this month. We're not quite into the Christmas period, are we? We're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. Less than 2 weeks. Where the fuck is the year gone? And before Suzuha could respond, Yuki had moved her plate over to their table.
いや
No, wait! She had no choice but to follow. But before she sat down, she whispered in Yuki's ear.
デート中なんだよね
You're on a date, right?
あそうですデート中です
Huh? Oh, yeah. I'm on a date.
改めて言われると照れますね
It makes me blush when I say it aloud. Huh? Tara didn't react at all, even though she was sure he'd overheard that.
私デートとかしたことないから詳しくないんだけどさ
I've never been on a date, so I don't know how they work, but
デート中に他の女とカレーの早食い対決したりするもんなの
is it normal to have a curry speed eating contest in the middle of another girl in the middle of a date? Now, this would be hilarious if it turned out that this scene was one of Daru's H-Go game. Harem choices. That would actually be really funny, but I don't think the creators will go for it. I don't think they're quite that cruel to the audience. It'd be funny as fuck, but they won't do it. Yeah, Kels, that's one way of putting it. Yes, it's a true family lunch.
さあどうでしょう
I don't really know.
でもほらアニメとかコミックスとかにそういうのありません
That was fucking minging. 10 minutes too long. 10 minutes too long. But you see it a lot in anime and manga, don't you?
お兄ちゃんを取られたくない妹が彼女さんに向かって勝負だみたいなの
A little sister who doesn't want to lose her big brother runs up to the girlfriend and says, "Let's have a competition!" For some reason, Yuki seemed incredibly enthused. Suzuha was overwhelmed by her energy.
知らないってば
I don't know anything about that.
そういうものなの兄さん
Is that how it works, brother? But even when she turned to Ataru for help, he just awkwardly sat there, eating his curry like a robot. Dude, worst move ever.
兄さん
Brother! He awkwardly turned his head to face her. The restaurant stayed completely still, so we've got that whole kind of movement.
なんか言った
Did you say something?
どうしたのさなんかおかしいよ
What's wrong? You're acting weird! You say this is one of the cringiest dates you've ever seen, Avian? Is it as bad as the one from the original Steins game? Oh, yes. I remember that one too.
どうもしてないおかしくないお
I am not acting weird. I'm not acting weird at all. Suzuha glanced back at Yuki. Avian, I think he wants rid of Suzuha, and Suzuha wants rid of Suzuha, but Yuki's like, I'm in charge here, you stay. And for the first time, Yuki looked concerned. In the end, Yuki and Suzuha did have their speed curry eating contest. And surprisingly, both of them completely finished their meals. Ayadina, your charm, your courage, your charm, your diligence, and your knowledge have all increased. Suzuha won by a very small margin, but the battle was exciting enough that not only the other customers, but the staff as well, were applauding at the end. But the whole time, Daru kept eating by himself. Since this wasn't even a conversation, let alone a date, she sent Daru home alone. Parta wanted to demand Daru explain himself right now, but she decided to talk to Yuki instead. She tried her best to avoid Yuki so far, in order to keep her identity a secret, but it was July now. She would be gone from this era very soon. This might be her last chance to talk to Yuki at all. Phew.
鈴葉さんがいてくれて助かりました。
I'm so glad you were there. Yuki sighed a little after Daru left.
私、もしかしたら気に障るようなことをしちゃったのかもしれません。
Maybe I did something to offend him.
橋田さん、私といてもあんまり楽しくないみたいだったから。
Hashi doesn't seem to enjoy being around me.
単に緊張してただけじゃないかな。
You don't think he was just nervous?
でも映画を見る前は楽しそうにお話ししてくれてたんですよ。
But he was having fun talking with me before the movie, you know.
それが映画の後はすっかりよそよそしくなってしまって。
But after the movie, he started acting really strange. Like I say Celtic, he is like, again, to revisit the world from the original Steins game, that was one of the points. They tried to act like they're not, and it was awkward for everybody. Because again, people know when you're acting. People know when you're putting on a mask and pretending to be somebody else. Right, they all know the real you, and if you're going to act in a way that contradicts that, they're going to call you out on it.
私、何か間違っちゃったのかな。
Did I do something wrong?
カレー屋さんに連れて行ってもらったのも私のリクエストだったんですけど、ずっとあの調子だったからさすがにちょっと困ってしまって。
I asked him to take me to the curry place, but since he was acting like that the whole time, I wasn't really sure what to do.
それで偶然お店にいた鈴葉さんに助けを求めたというわけです。
And so since you happened to be there, I turned to you for help. What had happened inside the theatre? Suzuha hadn't followed them inside. She'd spent about 2 hours killing time outside.
あのさ、
Hey!
ゆきさんはなんで兄さんのこと好きになったの？
Why do you like my brother?
いや、私が言うのもなんだけど、あんまりモテるタイプじゃないじゃん、兄さんって。
I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's not exactly a lady killer.
鈴葉さんはお兄さんのことどう思います？
What do you think about your brother? And I say, if the theatre's done it, I wonder what did it. Was it like just being close to her by himself and there was no one around? I don't know. Something must have happened. The question is what?
私？
Me?
好きですか？嫌いですか？
Do you like him? Hate him?
好きですよね。見ていればわかります。
You like him, right? I can tell by watching you.
もう、
Well, sure. There were parts of him that she didn't like. But of course she loved her dad.
で、私のことは別にどうでもいいじゃないか。
Wait, why are we talking about me?
それで、ユキさんは？
So, what about you?
私はまだ好きかどうかもよくわからないです。
I still don't really know if I like him or not.
そっか。
I see. Not only had Daru not told Yuki he liked her, this was still their first date, and they hadn't spoken that much before, either. She hadn't even reached the point where she saw him as a member of the opposite sex. Oh, wow. Okay, now that's being run over by the bus. Jeez. For almost a year, Suzuha had stayed with him, and she, Miyuri, and Faris had done everything they could to get the two of them together, but there hadn't been any real progress. Suzuha felt uneasy when she thought about the future. And as I say, Avian, you say maybe there's something about the movie. Again, we don't know what movie it was. That's the key thing. If it was one about, you know, a family torn apart by war, then he obviously knows what's happening in the future. If it's anything to do with timelines, well, he already knows what happened in the past. When you think about it, if you've been through the world lines that these guys have, going to a movie theatre must fucking suck. Maybe her dad wouldn't be her dad anymore. Maybe her mum wouldn't be her mum anymore. Dad and mum wouldn't be together. She imagined that future.
そんなの嫌だ。
I don't want that! She looked straight into Yuki's eyes.
私さ、もうすぐここからいなくなるんだ。
I'm going to be leaving soon. What?
ちょっと遠いところに引っ越すんだよね。
I'm moving someplace far away.
そうなんですか？
Really?
多分戻ってこないと思う。
I don't think I'll be back.
心配なんだ。父さん、兄さんのこと。
I'm worried about I mean my brother.
だからさ、ユキさん。
So, Yuki.
こんなこと私が頼むのもおかしな話なんだけど。
I know this is a weird thing for me to ask. Look after my brother. And then she bowed deeply.
橋田至をよろしくお願いします。
Please take care of Hashida Itaru. Called it. Please take care of her brother. Or in other words, take care of Hashida. Avian, that's a good point. Knowing exactly where the relationship would lead. Change the future by making it never happen. There was no answer from Yuki. Suzuha looked up, afraid, and tried to gauge the expression on her face. She looked kind of lonely and kind of sad.
私はどうしたいんでしょうね。
I don't know what I want to do. Yuki whispered, and then Suzuha.
ああ、もうどうするんだよ。これじゃ破局の危機だよ。まだ始まってもいないけど。
Papa is very, very disappointed in you. That's what that face says right there. Ah, jeez, what are we gonna do? Everything's almost finished, even though it's never even started. As soon as she got back to the lab, she yelled at her useless father. Ouch.
すずはごめんな。橋だけはもうダメなんだお。
Oh. Is he taking the piss here? Wah! Suzuha, I'm sorry! The Hashida family is doomed!
しょぼくれてるんじゃない
Stop sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. This isn't funny.
とりあえず今日はなんであんな態度を取ったのかしっかり説明して。
Start by explaining why you were acting that way today.
今朝出かけるときはあんなに楽しそうだったじゃないか。母さんだって映画の途中までは普通だったって言ってたし。
You looked so excited when you left this morning. And Mom said you were normal until halfway through the movie. Yeah.
一体何があったの？
So what the hell happened?
いやそれがさ聞いてくれよ。
Well, you see, listen to this.
映画の座席って狭いじゃん。だから僕天音氏の邪魔にならないようにと思ってできるだけ椅子の端っこに寄って座ってたんだよね。
You know how movie theater seats are cramped, right? So I tried to sit as far to the edge as I could so I wouldn't get in Amishishi's way.
そしたら椅子がベキっていって壊れそうになって。
And then I heard this crack and the seat almost broke. Yeah, that would be embarrassing. That would be very embarrassing. What?
で慌てて体を支えようとして肘掛けを掴んだんだけど。
And then I tried to support myself, so I grabbed the armrest.
それが
But
肘掛けじゃなくて天音氏のその手だったんだお。
But it wasn't the armrest. It was Amanishi's hand. This is where I should cut to the clip of the Gran Turismo 4 license test when it just comes up with fail and yellow are like, oh yeah. Because it just screams fail.
うん。
Yeah?
そんなこと母さん一言も言ってなかったけど。
Mom didn't say anything about that.
嘘じゃないよ。あの柔らかい感触は肘掛けのはずがない。女の子の手に決まってる。
Come on, that pose screams bollocks. That screams absolute bollocks. I'm telling the truth. It was so soft. It could have been an armrest. It was a girl's hand. It had to have been.
そう。
I see.
ただ僕女の子と手をつなぐなんて2次元ならともかく3次元じゃほとんど経験なくて。
But you see, I've held a lot of 2D girls' hands, but never a real girl's.
それでどうしたの？
And what happened then?
天音氏優しいからさ、僕を傷つけないようにと思ったのか、その手を振りほどかないんだお。
Amanda, she's so nice. I guess she didn't try to shake it off because she didn't want to hurt me.
僕ってこの体型じゃん。手汗とかかきまくりじゃん。ベッタベッタになるわけじゃん。なのに天音氏何にも言わずそのままで。
But you know how fat I am, right? I swear what? She must have gotten soaked. But she didn't say a word. Oh, Avian's taken the ball and gone home. That's it. Headset's down on the mic stand. Avian's out.
なんかそれからすごく意識するようになっちゃって。
And so I really started to think about that.
ああ、なるほどね。それであんなにポンコツになってたのか。
Oh, I see. That's why your act is so weird.
天音氏もきっと心の中でキモいうざい話せ変態って思ってたに違いないよ。
I'm sure in her mind, Amanishi was going, "Get off me, you creepy loser pervert!"
母さんはそんな人間じゃないよ。
Mom's not like that. In fact, from the way she was acting, she probably thought she'd upset him somehow. The problem was what she'd said.
私はどうしたいんでしょうね。
I don't know what I want to do. What does she mean by that? Well, if she's got reading Stein, she might know that we come together at some point. She doesn't know where she wants to go. I don't know what Mom's thinking.
すずはこうなったら母 母さんのことは諦めて僕と二人で仲良く生きていこう。
Scissor, let's give up on Mom and you can live with me.
言ってることがめちゃくちゃだよ。そもそも私はどうやって生まれてくればいいんだ。
You're not making any sense. How am I even supposed to be born?
でも無理だって。
But it's impossible.
父さんが頑張らないでどうするの？このピンチをチャンスに変えるんだよ。
How come you're not even trying? Even if things look bad, you have to keep going. Scissor, when did you transform into a Love Live character? I'm not complaining, I'm just asking. She grabbed her father by the collar and shook him.
出ないと。
If you don't! She remembered how sad Yuki had looked when they'd said goodbye.
出ないと取り返しがつかないことになるよ。
Otherwise, something awful will happen.
ですよね。
Yeah. Scissor was starting to wonder about leaving. Especially now that she had even more to worry about. Maybe I shouldn't have talked to Yuki after all. She realised again how powerless she was, being from the future. And here is Akabe again, so... Before we start the scene, I'll do a quick save. No, I do not want to load. That would be an epic fail. Unearth an early hour. Let's load the game! Ah! The Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization Japanese office prep room in Wako City hadn't changed a bit in 6 months. That, right there, is the least formed sentence in the world. Have they never heard of commas? That's ridiculous! It was still far from being what it needed to be, and still almost completely empty. There were rows and rows of empty desks. The amount of dust on the tables had perhaps increased. After Dr. Leskinen had left, it had probably remained unused.
わざわざ呼びつけてすまないね、リンタロウ。
Sorry to call you out here like this, Lintaro.
ああ、いえ。
Oh, it's fine. Dr. Leskinen had told me he wanted to update the Amadeus app to the latest version, so I'd come to his office after class. Updating the app. This isn't going to end well. Maho connected my phone to her PC to begin the process. He said it would only take 10 minutes, so I was sitting around and waiting. 10 minutes to install an app? 10? This isn't a PSN update that you're downloading here, Akabe. It's a mobile phone app. If it takes 10 minutes to connect it up there, try booting the damn thing up. Be useless.
ところで、リンタロ
By the way, Lintalo.
ウ。以前にも話したと思うが、本気で留学について考えてみないかい？
I know we discussed this before, but would you seriously consider being an exchange student?
え？
Huh?
君が問題なければ、推薦状も書こうじゃないか。
If it doesn't bother you, I'd be willing to write a recommendation letter.
もちろんテストや面接はパスする必要があるけどね。
Of course, you'd need to pass the test and the interviews. I frantically straightened my posture.
とてもありがたい話なんですが。
That's a very tempting offer, but
今の俺の学力じゃまだ難しいかと。
I don't think I've got the academic talent for it yet.
俺、真剣にビクトル・コンドリア大を目指しているんです。だからこそ、絶対に失敗したくなくて。
My goal is to go to Victochondria, and so I really don't want to screw it up.
そのためには、せめてあと1年、本気で勉強すべきだって思っていて。
And so I was planning on really buckling down and studying for at least another year. Dr. Leskinen pursed his lips as I tried to stammer out an explanation. But soon...
OK, OK.
Okay. He patted me on the shoulder and smiled.
やはり君はと ても思慮深い青年だね。
I knew you were a very thoughtful young man.
そうですか。そんな風に言われたのは初めてですが。
Really? No one's ever told me that before. Saying it was one thing, but maybe I was just a coward. There were times when you needed the courage to move forward without being afraid of failure. Was now one of those times?
では、挑戦は来年かな？
So you'll try for it next year then?
そうですね。
Yes, maybe. Had I missed my chance? Would Dr. Leskinen wait until next year? I started to get nervous.
根を詰めすぎるのも良くないよ。例えば大学を見学に行くだけでもモチベーションのアップにつながると思う。
It's not good to obsess over things too much. I think even coming to visit would help your motivation. Now, if we think back to the second stream I did, where we had the time change, and we ended up in the period of Japan there was war, do you remember what the Japanese soldier said? If you go to America, you will not make it back alive. Is that a warning from another timeline? And that's why Leskinen's even tempting him to just go and visit. Again, guns on shelves, people.
見学ですか。
Visit?
もしタイミングが合えば旅費は出すからぜひ一度一緒に行ってみないかい？
If the timing works out for you, we'd be willing to pay to have you visit. How about it? Huh?
そこまでしてもらえるなんて。ありがとうございます。
I can't believe you do that for me. Thank you.
もちろん私は次いつアメリカに帰れるかどうかわからないから時期については明言できないがね。
Of course, I don't know when I'll be heading back to America next, so I can't exactly say as to when it'll be.
はい。
Right. I bowed my head in gratitude. Meeting Dr. Leskinen was a real lucky break for me. Something about that quiet face there. By chance, my eyes met Maho's. For some reason, her smile was a little sad. She quickly looked away and went back to her work. Maho was staying in a business hotel a few stops down from Waco City. She said she deliberately avoided staying in the same hotel as last time.
少し不便になったけれどね。
It's not quite as convenient, though.
というか、少しは片付けたらどうだ？
You know, why not clean up a little? Well, because that takes effort and time. I want to do other stuff like lounge on my bed and watch videos on social media websites. I don't want to be cleaning my room. Who are you, my dad? Oh wait, considering how he sees... no, I take that back. She hadn't spent that much time in Japan, and it was already messy.
片付ける？私は自分が一番効率的に過ごすことのできる配置をしているだけよ。
Clean up? I've got everything laid out in the most efficient manner for my use. Which meant she was refusing the hotel's cleaning service.
そんな風にデリカシーが欠けてるから先輩にはいつまで経っても彼氏ができないんですよ。
You know, that's why you're never getting a boyfriend, right? I could hear Kurisu from my phone. She was annoyed. After the app updated, I left after Amadeus running.
大きなお世話よ。
Nobody asked you!
この部屋の惨状で人を招くなんて普通は恥ずかしくてとてもできません。
Any normal person would be embarrassed to invite someone over to a room like this. Well, cleaning wasn't a specialty of mine either. It wouldn't be right to give her too much of a hard
そ
time.
れで俺に話って。
So, what did you want to talk about? I come to Maho's hotel because she said she wanted to talk to me about something. I wouldn't have minded talking about it in the office, but she insisted on speaking alone, in her hotel room. I knew she didn't mean anything by it. After knowing her for half a year, I knew she wasn't the type. You could be surprised, Akabe. People can surprise you. You never know who's sociopathic enough to hide in plain sight. Maho looked like she's having trouble finding the words she wanted to say.
あなたにまだ聞けていないから。
You still haven't told me
クリスの事件の真相を。
the truth about what happened to Kurisu. I quickly shut down the Amadeus app.
それにタイムマシンのことについても聞きたいの。
And I want to ask you about the time machine, too.
タイムマシン？
What? Time machine?
クリスは中鉢論文に関わっている。そう言ったのはあなたよ。
You're the one who said that Kurisu was involved in Datsun Nakabachi's paper.
ねえ、あの子は本当にタイムマシンを？
Was she really working on a time machine? How should I answer that? Last time she'd been trying to decrypt Chris's laptop. I was willing to tell her what I'd experienced in order to get her to stop. In the end, I'd lost the chance though. But things were different now. Chris's laptop was gone. There was no reason to bring it up anymore. But then Maho said something I didn't expect.
実は私、この半年、本来の研究と並行でタイムマシンの研究をしていたの。
Actually, I've been researching a time machine for the last 6 months, along with my normal research.
なんだって。
What?
クリスにできたのなら私もって思ってしまって。
I thought that if Chris could do it, so could I.
歪んだ対抗意識ね。意地になっているのかも。
It's just a silly rivalry. Maybe I'm being stubborn.
でもね、
But you know,
もしタイムマシンを作ることができたらクリスのことを救えるかもって。
if I could make a time machine, I could save Chris. Don't! Eh? This was awful. Why bring it up now? Maho was still haunted by Chris's death just as much as I was.
バカなことは考えるな。
Don't get any stupid ideas!
岡部さん。
Akabe,
マキセクリスを救おうなんて考えるんじゃない。
don't try to save Makise Chris.
そんな可能性はゼロなんだ。
It's impossible.
神の摂理がそれを許さない。
The laws of God won't allow it.
やっぱり
Then I was right.
あなたやっぱり何か知っているのね。
I was right. You know something, don't you? Maho got closer to me.
もしかして実現させたの？クリスはタイムマシンを完成させている？
Did she really do it? Did Chris make a time machine?
あなたはそれに乗ってすでに人類初のタイムトラベルを行ったんでしょ？そうなんだわ。
You used it to become humanity's first time traveler, didn't you? I know you did!
根拠があって言っているのか。
Do you have any proof of that? I pretended to remain calm. Maho seemed shocked at her own words.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
私どうかしているわ。こんな妄想を口にするなんて。
I'm being weird. I can't believe I said something so delusional. Yeah, I'm not trying to voice act girls' tears. You don't want to hear me do that.
ヒアジョさん
Hyajo! Maho started to cry. I didn't know what to do when she started crying right in front of me.
どうしたのかしら私こんな急に
What's got it into me? I didn't mean...
全然泣くつもりなんて
I didn't mean to cry. She used her fingers to wipe away the tears. She seemed pretty unstable. I could sense a lot more fragility than I'd seen before. She looked like she'd been psychologically pushed to the limit. Is that the game taking the piss out of the audience, I wonder? All the things she'd experienced must have taken a toll on her. When we were talking on video chat, I hadn't seen any signs of that at all. Should I tell her? Chaotic, you think Humanity's First Time Travel sounds like an awesome title. It's a good base, but I don't know, there's something missing from it. I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe it's... I don't know why. I like it and I don't. There's something about it that just doesn't quite click with me and I don't know what it is. If she was researching a time machine, that was a bad sign. She might start looking into things and open doors that should remain closed. If that was the case, I should tell her what I experienced and then have her give up, just like I did.
わかった。俺が経験したことを話そう。
Fine. I'll tell you what I experienced.
絶対に誰にも他言無用だ。
Promise me you won't tell anyone. Yeah, you say it'd be a good title for Akabe. That makes more sense, Chaotic, yeah. And the fact that he's about to potentially tell her what happened? Bad idea. This won't end well.
それともう一度これだけは言っておく。
And I'll say this one more time.
マキセ・クリスを救おうとは考えるな。
Don't get any ideas about saving Makise Kurisu.
いいな。
Got it? She nodded as she wiped away the tears. I told her about the events in the Alpha World line, about the time machine, about reading Steiner, about the method of sending memories back through time that I called a time leap, about how Chris had developed a time leap machine that made this possible, about Amani Suzuha, the time traveler from year 2036. Really? Throw yourself under the bus and talk about the time... What? Reference the fact that Suzuha's from the fucking future? Are you stupid? If Basco pops at Nawakabe, I'm gonna come in there, rip off your arm and beat you to death with a wet fucking end! About the future Suzuha who told us about, and the Third World War. And about how the race to develop a time machine would set off that war. I told her all these things, as matter-of-factly as I could. We need a reading Steiner moment here. We need a reading Steiner to send us into a different timeline. As for how Chris died, I couldn't tell her that. When I told her everything, she fell silent for a bit. She took a deep breath, frowned, and rubbed her temples.
頭が痛いわ。
My head hurts.
すべて信じる必要はない。
You don't need to believe it all.
俺の頭がおかしいと思っても構わない。
You can think I'm crazy if you want. It doesn't bother me.
だが、もし君がタイムマシンの研究を続けてマキセ・クリスを救おうとするなら、俺はどんな手段を使っても止めるつもりだ。
But if you insist on continuing to research a time machine and save Makise Chris, I'll do whatever I have to in order to stop you. So Akabe becomes the anti-time traveler? That's an interesting idea.
だから変な考えは捨てるんだ。
So give up on any ideas you've got. And yep, chaotic. I noticed that as well. Constant that. Which suggests that there's something else going on there.
自分を追い詰めるのはよせ。
Stop pushing yourself so hard. I was about to say more, but Maho put his hand up to stop me.
もう少し整理させて。
Oh, let me get all this straight in my head a little more.
あなたの言うリーディングシュタイナーって新型脳炎のことじゃないの？
This reading Stein you told me about, it's not the new encephalitis?
レスキネン教授が話していた症状と同じだわ。
The symptoms match what Dr. Leskinen told me about.
そうだな。そうかもしれない。
That's true. It might be.
レスキネン教授には話すべきかどうかまだ迷っているんだ。
I still don't know whether I should tell him or not. He actually said Leskinen's name there. I find it intriguing that he didn't actually include his name in the English translation. Can't think of a reason why they wouldn't.
無用な混乱を招くかもしれないし。
It may just confuse him for no good reason.
君はどう思う？
What do you think?
私に聞かないで。
Don't ask me, please. Maho was still massaging her temples with her fingers.
そうだな。すまない。
That's true. Sorry.
あなたはクリスのノート PC を本当に破壊してしまったの？
Did you really destroy Chris's laptop?
ああ、壊した。
Yeah, I did.
中身は見た？
Did you see what was on it?
ロックの解除方法がわからなかったんだ。見ようがない。
I didn't know how to crack the password. There was no way I could. Even Darius said he couldn't do it. There was no way I could do it on my own.
あなたはクリスが書いたタイムマシンに関するオリジナルの論文を読んだの？
Did you read the original paper on the time machine that Carissa wrote? Could Curry Gohan be the password? To her laptop. The name she used on that channel. He's only just remembered it.
Yeah.
No. Maho kept asking me questions. She seemed to be in some kind of strange hurry.
あなたはクリスがどうやってタイムリープマシンを完成させたか知っているの？
Do you know how Chris made her time leap machine?
おおよそはな。
The basic ideas.
再現できる？
Could you recreate it?
どうだろうか。ダルの助けがあれば、あるいは。
I don't know. Maybe with Daru's help.
できるのね。
So you could, right?
俺一人じゃ難しい。
It would be difficult to do on my own. Why is he going along with her? He said he was going to stop her. Surely he'd be going, no, no, fuck no, absolutely not, and everything else. I don't know why he's going along with it. Don't make sense.
私なら。
What about me?
そんなことは考えるな。
Don't even think about it. Maho suddenly grimaced as if she was in pain. I realized how pale she was.
ヒアジョーさん、大丈夫か？
Hyajo, are you okay? Did she really have a headache or something?
少し横になるか？
You want to lie down? But she shook her head and kept asking questions.
タイムマシンは今どこにあるの？
Where is the time machine now?
鈴葉さんが乗ってきたという。それはどこに？
The one that Scissorhai used. Where is it?
どこなの？
Where? I wasn't sure if I should say without Scissorhai's permission. No. Akabe, you've already called that Scissorhai's acting. Not Scissorhai, sorry, that she's acting weird. Hyajo Maho. You've already called that she's acting weird. Why are you revealing any information? Say nothing.
Akihabara だ。
Akihabara. Maho looked so desperate that I found myself answering her question. Because you're a moron.
ラジカンの屋上に
There you go.
今もある。
I heard the translation before the English came up. What a moron. What an absolute idiot. We know that the biometrics of a Mane is needed. But they know who she is. It's still there. On top of the radio building.
そう
I see. Her shoulders slumped and her head drooped. I was worried that she might ask to see it for herself, but maybe she really was sick.
本当に平気か？
Are you really okay? I put my hand on her shoulder and looked at her face.
今日はもう休んだ方が。
You should rest for today. Yeah. There was no warning at all. Maho's tiny body slammed into me. The force enough to push me back to the wall. Ooh, now where have we seen this before? We saw this with Kagari. I think the mind control theory might well be true. Both Kagari and Maho.
何を
What are you? Before I knew what was happening, her arm was against my throat. She was using the bone in her arm to put pressure on my windpipe. I couldn't breathe or speak. I twisted my body and tried to resist, still clueless as to what was going on. Then she used her other hand to grab my head and slam it back into the wall. Her strength was incredible. I was a lot bigger than she was, but I still couldn't escape her grasp. I remember reading a book once where there was a concept of humankind essentially getting a virus which made them go feral, so it made them go more animalistic, and basically a lot of the latent muscles started being used because of this chemical. This is what this reminds me of. It reminds me of that kind of same thing. It's like literally the body has been able to push a load of, say, serotonin or adrenaline into the body and make it kick into a high gear. And as you say, Chaotic, futuresque in it, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, brain cognitive theory and all that kind of stuff.
残念だわ岡部さん
I'm sorry, Okabe. Her voice was very dark and very cold. And suddenly she moaned again, and her face twisted in pain. Exactly the same as Kagari. Daru said that she was crying under the motorcycle helmet.
頭が割れそうよ
My head feels like it's about to explode! She was crying again.
なんで
Why?
なんで私に話してくれたのよ
Why did you tell me?
あなたは黙っているべきだったのに
You shouldn't have said anything! I couldn't escape. I grabbed onto her long hair and tried to pull her away, but she didn't move at all. It was as if she felt no pain. Well, she might not feel any pain, but the one thing you can do is go by the involuntary motor response. If you can get to her hair, you can get to her eyes. The optic nerve would still send a very high sensory skill to the brain that would probably overload it for a few seconds, and it'd probably enough to break the grip. My phone had been vibrating in my pocket for a while now. I desperately grabbed for it. I pressed the button without even looking at the screen. Please, answer. Kurisu. Okabe? Kurisu! I was blacking out. Was I going to die here? Without even knowing why Maho was trying to kill me? But The whole time she was strangling me, Maho looked like she was in so much pain. And wait, was she still crying? Before I could figure out if her tears were real or an act, I passed out. Okay, so who's going to save him? Because it's obvious it's not going to be like that. When I woke up, my throat hurt. I tried to cover my mouth with my hands, but something was keeping them from moving. Ah, he's back in the lab. So, is that the lab or is that the hospital? I wonder. But seriously, why do people do this? Don't tell anybody anything. I opened my eyes and saw that I was sitting in some kind of chair with my head facing downwards. I slowly raised my head. My hands were tied to the armrest with zip ties. When I tried to break out, the ties dug into my skin and hurt very badly. I tried looking around. It was a room I'd never seen before. Well, if he's on a wheel chair, there's no way that he's going to be locked to the ground, so he can always stand up. And that, ironically, would actually give him a weapon, because he'd be able to spin around and attack with it. If it's a wooden chair, all he'd have to do is dive backwards. It'd hurt his spine, but the pressure would break the chair, and therefore he'd be free. And at that point, he'd actually have a pair of clubs that he's holding in both hands. No, I've not been watching too many action movies. Too many anime action movies, maybe, but not too many action movies. There were machines that looked like they belonged in the operating room of a hospital. Ah, so I might be right. But the wall was also lined with monitors, like some kind of guard room or control room. I couldn't see any windows, so I had no idea where I was. Someone... My throat hurt when I tried to talk. And then I remembered that Maho had almost killed me. Why had she done that? I felt more confused than angry. Here he is.
Rintaro.
Knew it. Hello, Lintalo. You're awake. I heard footsteps and saw a wavering shadow beneath the dim fluorescent lights in front of me. I knew that voice. What?
Leskinen. Kyoju.
Dr. Leskinen?
気分はどうかな。喉が渇いたなら水を用意させるよ。
How do you feel? If you're thirsty, I can get you some water. When I looked again, I saw that he wasn't alone. There were several men behind him in black suits. They were looking at me without saying a word. All of them were holding guns. They looked like MIBs, and reminded me of the foreigners who I'd almost run into at Dara's shop 6 months ago. Or was it even the same group?
これは一体
What's going on here? There were a lot of things I wanted to ask, but more than anything, I wanted to know why Dr. Leskinen wasn't helping me. Of course, the first thing that came to mind was the obvious answer. It was Dr. Leskinen who had put me here, and Maho had captured me under his orders. But I didn't want to think about that.
ここはどこですか
Where are we? So all I could ask was a quick stupid question like that.
私の目に狂いはなかったよ。
I was right.
君はまさに情報の宝庫だ。
You truly are a treasure trove of information.
今や合衆国大統領にも匹敵する価値のある人物と言ってもいい。
Right now, you're as valuable as the President of the United States. He didn't answer me, but he showed me a self-satisfied smile. I could feel alarm bells going off in my head. Oh, come on, that line! For fuck's sake! He stood behind... You're tied to a chair. You're in a place you don't know. He's got men with guns behind him, and you're getting more suspicious. Are you serious, bro? I was getting more suspicious of Dr. Leskinen.
俺は監禁されてるんですか？
Am I in prison here?
監禁というよりは保護と言った方がいいだろうね。
It would be more accurate to say you're under our protection.
君の価値が明らかになれば、狙ってくる連中はたくさん出てくるはずだからね。
Once your value becomes clear, there will be a lot of people coming after you.
レスキネン教授が指示したんですか？
Did you order this, Dr. Leskinen?
そうだよ。私がこうすべきだと判断した。
That's right. I made the decision.
魔法から君の持つ情報について聞いてね。
After hearing about your information from Maho,
ヒヤジョウさんはどこです？
where is Hiyacho?
ホテルで休んでるんじゃないかな。
Resting in her hotel room, I'd imagine.
ヒヤジョウさんは俺から情報を引き出すために近づいてきたんですか？
Did Hiyacho become my friend in order to extract information from me?
最初はそうではなかったよ。結果的にはそうなったけれどね。
That wasn't her original intent. In the end, that's how it ended up, though.
あなたも
And you too?
俺に親切にしてくれたのもそういう打算があったからですか？
Were you nice to me because you were after something? You see, I hate to say I told you so, but there's an old phrase, isn't there? If something's too good to be true, it quite often is. But he's a young kid, lacking life experience. Despite all the world lines and things he'd seen, he hadn't yet gotten on to that key thing. The nous up here was not yet formed.
あなたは一体何者なんです？
Just who are you?
まあまあ落ち着けなさい。
Now, please calm down.
前に教えただろう。科学者たるもの、常に冷静でなければいけない。興奮していいのは実験が成功した時だけだと。
I've told you before, haven't I? A scientist must remain calm at all times. Excitement is only allowed when the experiment is a success. And indeed you were right about him, Avian. As I said, I did say I'd be disappointed if he was. But again, I still get the feeling there's somebody else who's the anti. It seems too easy. It seems too easy for him to be the big bad. Way too easy. I get the feeling there's something else going on here. You're right not to trust him, and I grew suspicious of him after that as well, to be fair. That's why I was saying, nah, no thanks, don't like you. But it just seemed a bit, I say, if he's the guy in charge of it, it'll be very disappointing. Kind of like when I played Persona 3. That was disappointing too. Instead of feeling calm, Dr. Leskinen's attitude was pissing me off. I felt betrayed. There was rage, frustration, sorrow, and a lot of other feelings all mixed together as I gritted my teeth. Dr. Leskinen ignored me and gave a brief order in English to the other men. They left the room. Only Dr. Leskinen and I remained.
さて、リンタロウ。私のもう一つの仕事の話をしよう。
Now then, Lintalo, I'll tell you about my other job.
もう一つの仕事。
Your other job? It was then that I remembered the other world line that I'd been sent to. Yep. Shimayama had told me that an American organization had demanded that I be turned over.
CIA か NSC か
Are you with the CIA? The NSC? But Dr. Leskinen only chuckled.
一緒にされては心外だな。
Don't compare me to those idiots.
彼らは無能な公務員の集まりだよ。
They're just a useless bunch of useless government employees.
君はストラテジックフォーカス社というアメリカの民間情報機関を知っているかな？
Are you aware of an American civilian intelligence company called Strategic Focus? No, and as a brand, that's quite shit. Let's be honest. It sounds like a really, really, really bad recruitment agency. I'm calling you from a Strategic Focus. We got an opportunity with a competitive salary and you only got to move 700 miles in order to get it. No expenses paid. That's what it reminds me of.
ストラテジックフォーカス社
Strategic Focus? I'd heard of them before. On a conspiracy site that the old me used to read all the time.
ストラトフォー
Stratofor? Stratfor. Official name Strategic Focus. An American civilian agency sometimes called the Shadow CIA. It has its own independent intelligence network that it uses to gather and analyze security information from around the globe. And many famous companies and military organizations sit on its board of advisors. They are a for-profit company with completely different ideals and policies from groups like Anonymous, who crack classified information, or WikiLeaks, which publishes public interest information from whistleblowers. There is a real information brokerage company named Strategic Forecasting Inc., based out of Texas. This company bears no relationship whatsoever with Strategic Focus. So, is that the organization that Akabe was always on the run from? Stratfor. I remembered reading that they'd acquired top secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation, and at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I'd even heard rumours that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtained information about the warring countries faster than anyone, and spread it as needed. The world's governments supposedly called them the Shadow
あ
CIA.
なたがそのストラトフォーだって
You work for Stratfor?
でも脳科学研究所の主任研究員じゃ
But I thought you were the chief researcher at the Brain Science Institute.
本業はそっちだよ。もちろんね。
That's my real job, of course.
ところで私はよくこういう説を唱える連中に出くわすんだ。
By the way, I often run into people who tell me the exact same things.
人間は殺し合いをする猿である。人間の脳だけが大脳神秘質の発達によって狂った信仰や野望を持つようになり、そのせいで戦争が起きる。
They tell me that humans are just monkeys that murder each other. The human brain and the development of the neocortex are what give rise to crazy religions and crazy ambitions. And that's why there are wars.
だが私はそうした説を聞くたびに思うのさ。そんなバカみたいな考え方は受け入れられない。でたらめだとね。
But every time I hear that, I think to myself, that's stupid. It's nonsense. Who could believe something so silly?
ではなぜ人間同士の不毛な戦争がいつまでも終わらないのか。わかるかな、レンタロウ。
So why do humans fight all these useless wars then? Do you know, Lintalo? That's why. It's the Illuminati, people. They are confirmed. They're going to rule the world under a new world order with all the money in the world. That's why they do it.
それはね、情報のせいなんだよ。
It's because of information.
人間は誰しもあるコミュニティに属している軍隊だ。
All human beings are part of a certain community. A certain colony, if you will.
個人個人は自主的に行動しているつもりでいても、実は全ての脳はそのコミュニティに流布されている情報によってつながっている。
Each individual thinks he's acting on his own. But in fact, all our brains are connected by the information distributed by our community. It's the social media, people. That's what it is. The game's warning you about social media. All you people that say your porn name is your middle name plus the street you grew up on, and all those kind of questions.
そして一つの群れとして生きることを余儀なくされているのさ。
And thus, we are forced to live as members of a herd, whether we like it or not.
例を挙げてみよう。そうだな。例えは悪いが。
Let me give you an example. Well, as examples go, it's not the best, but...
ヨーロッパのある国が行った人類史上最悪の大虐殺は何も中世の魔女狩りの時代に起こった出来事じゃない。
Oh dear. We are not going down that avenue. I'll read the line, but I'm not going to say what he's referencing. The worst massacre in history, which was carried out by a certain European country, did not take place during the dark ages of the witch trials.
20世紀も半ば、すでに原子爆弾すら作られていたそんな時代の話なんだよ。
It was halfway through the 20th century, in a time when the atomic bomb already existed.
しかも、その国は当時最先端の文明国家の一つだった。
And the country that carried it out was one of the most civilized on Earth.
その国の指導者の資質問題は歴史学者に委ねるとして。
We'll leave the question of their leader's sanity to the historians. But...
実際の現場で虐殺に手を染めた人々のことを君は知っているかい？
What about the people who are actually on the ground, doing the killing? Yep, they're actually doing an allegory to one of the nastiest periods of human history, with atrocities beyond any form of reason and beyond any form of disgust. At least they're not in mechs in this game. Small victories, maybe?
彼らはただの人殺しの猿だったのだろうか？
Were they simply murderous monkeys?
違う。彼らはごくありふれた普通の人たちだった。
No, they were people, like any others you might find.
脳科学的に見ても何一つ異常の見られない普通の脳だったはずだ。
Speaking as a brain scientist, I'm certain if I were to examine one of their brains, I'd find nothing wrong with them at all.
ところが、ひとたびそこにとある最悪の情報が伝播すると、
But once they received the wrong information,
途端に彼らの脳は平気で虐殺を行う軍隊と化してしまう。
their brains became capable of murder without remorse.
最悪の情報。
The wrong information?
これは我々の使命なのだ。我々は正しいのだ。だから使命に従わない者は悪なのだ。
This is our job. We are in the right. And anyone who does not obey is evil. As I say, people.
そういう情報さ。
That information.
何が言いたいんですか？
What are you trying to say?
人間の脳という 軍隊のための情報はきちんと制御できるものが管理しなくてはならないということだよ。
There needs to be someone who can control the information given to these fragile things we call brains.
それがストラテジックフォーカスの最終目的だ。
And that is the ultimate goal of strategic focus.
私はそれに共感して脳科学者でありながらエージェントとして協力している。
As I am in complete agreement with that goal, I work as an agent for them in addition to being a brain scientist.
分かってくれたかな？
Do you understand? Well, no. I mean, if you understand the human brain, why are you giving yourself slavishly to an organization? Maybe I'm being crazy here, but that doesn't sound like the most efficient use of the brain.
わかりません。
I don't.
そんなのよくある映画の悪役のへりくつだ。
That's just the kind of monologue a villain gives in the movies.
結局あなたは金で情報を売買してるだけじゃないですか。
In the end, all you're doing is selling money information for money.
俺が情報の宝庫だって言いましたよね。
You said I'm a treasure trove of information, right?
タイムマシンの情報を一体どの国に売るつもりです？
Who are you going to sell information on the time machine to? Did Leskinen know you'd said that, or was he bluffing you, Akabe? He may have given you the wrong information. Say nothing.
アメリカ、中国、それとも中東やアフリカの紛争地域ですか？
America? China? Or the war zones in Africa and the Middle East?
そのすべてだよ。
All of them. In other words, Akabe, you caused World War III. You. By being a coward and refusing to go back, it's all your fault. Where's best girl now to go, I told you so, stranger? Leskinen shrugged his shoulders and quietly laughed.
核兵器と同じさ。抑止力としてあらゆる国に必要だと思っている。
It's just like nuclear weapons. Every nation needs them to act as a restraint against the others.
タイムマシンは核兵器なん
Hang
か
on a
とはわ
second.
けが違う。
Wasn't this a plotline in X-Men the Animated Series? When Cable stole a future time machine, and he actually said in the line of dialogue, you remember the nuclear, when everyone gave up the nukes, every country kept one. So they've gone back to the well of the original 90s X-Men cartoons. Not that that's a bad thing. I fucking love that cartoon series. Time machines are not nuclear weapons.
それが使われたかどうか誰も気づかない。もしかしたら使った本人さえも気づかないうちに世界は改変されてしまうんだ。
No one even realizes that they've been used. The whole world might change without even the person who used it knowing.
抑止力になんかならない。
There's no way to restrain their use.
どの国も誰がどう世界線をいじったのかすら感知できないまま狂ったように改変を続けるでしょう。永遠に。
The world will just keep changing and changing, with no one knowing which country altered the world line or how.
その通り。
That's right.
タイムマシンは核兵器以上にデリケートだ。
A time machine is a far more delicate thing than a nuclear weapon.
だからこそ君たちの能力が必要となる。
That's why we need your power. All of you people, I should say.
君は確かリーディング・スタイナーと名付けたそうだね。
You called it reading Steiner, as I recall.
どうやら新型脳炎とほぼ同じ症例だとか。
It seems to have the same symptoms as the new encephalitis. That's right. Leskinen was researching the new encephalitis too. Again, why do people just talk? Seriously. If you've got intel, keep it to yourself. Make them do the hard work.
我々は新型脳炎患者が過去改変を感知できるのかもしれないというところまでは突き止めていてね。
We'd reached a point where we realized that the patients may be capable of detecting changes to the past.
ずっとその確証を求めていたんだ。
But we wanted proof.
世界中の諜報機関も同じ。躍起になって調べている。
So does every intelligence agency in the world. They're desperately searching. I hated myself for not realizing the possibility sooner. I'd always had the wrong idea. I'd thought the reason the neuroencephalitis patients were being brought together was just to give them meaningless treatment. But I was naive. Too naive. Luskin and Stratfor's goal was to gather people with reading Steiner and study them, as I called the moment I saw Fubuki's helmet. It was obvious.
さっき真帆から君の特筆すべき能力のことを詳細に聞かせてもらったよ。
Maho just told me all about your amazing abilities. But here's the thing. If she'd only just told him about those capabilities of Okabe, then why was she triggered to attack? There's a piece missing here. There's a connection between those possibilities that's not been filled in. There's a missing link. There's a link missing there. And it's not Amadeus, because Amadeus tried but didn't call in until the attack was underway. So it wasn't that Amadeus. But it probably was Maho's Amadeus. Do you remember way back when they started talking about how you could use Amadeus to control minds by using the data of pilots to control drones? I think I'm right. I think it's the other Amadeus, the one that's not Carissa.
本来君からはクリスの失われた成果について聞き出せればそれでいいと思っていたが。
I had originally just hoped to get information about Carissa's successes.
新型脳炎の情報まで出てくるとは。君は最高だよ。
Instead, we even got information on the new encephalitis. You are wonderful.
ここでも我々は世界に対して一歩先んじることができる。
This puts us a step ahead of the rest of the world.
というか、君はどうしてもっと早く私にその能力のことを話してくれなかったんだい。
And why didn't you tell me about this sooner?
そうすれば君の友人、勝美の脳もあそこまでいろいろといじくらないで済んだのに。
If you had, I wouldn't have had to do so many things to your friend Katsumi's brain. What? Katsumi. Nakase Katsumi. Did he mean Fubuki?
それに君が話してくれていたなら魔法の脳に施術をすることもなかったんだ。
And I wouldn't have had to use the procedure on Maho's brain either.
ヒアジョさんまで
Even Hiyacho? Was that why she was acting so weird?
あなたの助手だろあなたを尊敬し慕っていたのに
She's your assistant, right? She respected you! She looked up to you!
そんな人体実験みたいな真似をよくも
How could you use her in a human experiment?
今後人類に貢献する情報を手に入れるために必要なことだったんだ。
It was necessary to acquire information that will benefit all of humanity.
それに そんなに慌てなくても大丈夫。
And there's no need to panic.
魔法も克実も将来少し脳機能に障害が残る程度で済むはずだ。
Both Maho and Katsumi will survive with only minor impairments to their brain functionality.
あんた狂ってる。
You're insane! For the first time, I felt hatred for, and fear of, the man in front of me. I couldn't believe that this was the same man I'd respected so much. Guys, the person that you look up to and respect is always the first to betray you. It's the oldest trope in the hills. And now we have a Dalam Namad coming in with vast tech as well. It's the second time that's happened on stream. If you are a bot, you're out of here.
リーディングスタイナー保有者の脳を調べればもっといろいろな発見があるだろう。
If we investigate the brains of patients who've contracted reading Steiner, I'm sure we'll learn more.
それをタイムマシンとセットで売れば世界の軍事バランスは完全に保たれる。戦争も回避できるんだ。
If we can sell that in a set along with the time machines, we can maintain the military balance of power across the world. We can avoid war.
君にもぜひ協力してほしい。
I want your cooperation, too. Leskinen's mannerisms hadn't changed a bit, even as he spoke of these horrifying things. He spoke in the same manner that Maho once described as like a mischievous child's.
俺のことを騙してたんですね。
Not with the way I'm speaking, voicing him. He's not. He sounds more like a president, because it's more fitting. You tricked me, didn't you?
俺に近づいたのはただ俺がクリスと親しかったからだ。クリスの生前の情報を俺から引き出そうとしていた。
You approached me just because I was friends with Chris. You've tried to get information about Chris from me.
騙していたつもりはないよ。
I don't think I ever tricked you.
君と最初に会ったのは偶然だ。
It was a coincidence that we first met.
エムデウスのテストを頼んだのは君がクリスの友人だからというのが大きかったがね。
It's true that a major reason I asked you to test Amadeus was your relationship with Chris.
ただ君のことを知るうちに純粋に興味を持ったのは本当だ。
But it's also true that as I got to know you, I really did take an interest in you.
今でも思っているよ。私の下で研究員になってくれたら嬉しいとね。
I still wish you could be my assistant. And as I thought, definitely can't bring up the phone. Because, well, it will make sense if he could, because he's tied to a chair. If he could suddenly pull up his phone and start dicking about online, that wouldn't really work, would it?
だが、それとこれとは別の話なんだ。
But that's a separate matter.
さっき言っただろう。君は今この時点で合衆国大統領に匹敵するレベルの重要人物だと。
Remember what I said? You're as valuable as the President of the United States himself right now.
私個人の考えよりも我々の仕事を優先せざるを得ないんだ。
I need to prioritize the company's work over my private feelings.
未来の人類の平和のために。
For the sake of humanity's future peace.
残念だ、リンタロウ。そして楽しみでもある。
I'm sorry, Lintalo. But at the same time, I'm excited.
君の持つ情報の全貌を私は早く知りたくてうずうずしているよ。
I can't wait to see all the information you possess. Much like one of the game overs for Catwoman in Batman Arkham City, I will enjoy dissecting your brain, Rintaro.
地獄に落ちろ。
Go to hell!
これから君の記憶データを取らせてもらう。
I'm going to take a copy of your memory data.
君の記憶をアメデウスシステムとして使わせてもらうんだ。面白いアイデアだろ？
Your memories are going to be used in the Amadeus system. Interesting idea, right? The only thing that could possibly happen here would be that Amadeus Chris intervenes in the fusion process and disrupts the data. Which would be a bit Deus Ex Machina, but it seems that's the kind of mantra they're going towards.
そうすれば、君が不良の事故で死んでも、君の記憶は残る。
That way, even if you die in an unfortunate accident, your memories will remain.
ああ、心配しなくてもいい。元より殺すつもりなどないよ。
Oh, don't worry. I'm not interested in killing you. The rest of the company and the guys with guns and everybody else, I can't speak for them, but I'm not interested in killing you.
人間というのはエムデウスよりもセキュリティが甘いんだ。
Humans have far weaker security than Amadeus.
苦痛を味わうと、それから逃れるために簡単に情報を漏らす。
Once they taste pain, they'll gladly share information to escape it. Not necessarily true. It's usually the other way round. If people are in pain, they will actually say anything to get it to stop. So like, you'll have someone who's being interrogated and they'll say their name is George Washington and that they come from Salem during the Salem witch trials, and they'll just throw a lot of bollocks out because they'll say anything in order for you to stop torturing them. That's why torture's not very effective. I sound like a real sociopath now. And the cops are lining up outside my door going, 10-4, we got him. If I get swatted now, that's really going to annoy me.
秘密保持のセキュリティなどないに等しい。
Their security, when it comes to keeping secrets, is practically non-existent.
拷問が通用しないエムデウスより生身の君の相手をする方がずっと楽だ。
Torture doesn't work in Amadeus, which means it'll be far more difficult to deal with than you.
記憶データを取るのはバックアップだと思ってくれたまえ。
The only reason I'm taking the memory data is to have a backup.
例えば、君が拷問に耐えきれず、精神崩壊を起こしてしまったとしても、
Even if, for example, you were unable to endure the torture when insane.
近い将来、記憶データを君の脳にダウンロードして回復させることもできるからね。
In the near future, we'll be able to download your memories back into your brain. And yes, Queen, we are indeed at this part. A bit disappointed that he's kind of been out as a villain like this. Even though I did call it a couple of chapters ago, it's just annoying. That's why I don't think he's the big bad. There's definitely somebody else. But as I say, we shall see.
君も私の講演に参加していたから知っているだろう。
You attended my lecture, so you know this, right? You say this is some sinister shit, Queen, but it just reminds me of Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic. Where you can just download brains into people's heads.
まず記憶データの取得。
We'll start by getting that memory data.
その後で君自身からいろいろなことを教えてもらう予定だ。忙しくなるぞ。
And then you're going to tell me all kinds of things. We're going to be busy.
さあ、リラックスして。
Now, relax.
そうでないとデータを正常に取得できないからね。
Otherwise, I can't extract the data correctly. And I mean, if I corrupt the code and then download it to your brain, there's a chance that you might be impaired, you may forget your name. There's also the chance that you'll be completely lobotomized, so it's really important that you Stay 100% still and calm. Think like you're going for a little gentle piece of meditation. This will be easier for you. Trust me, I'm a doctor. And indeed, Queen, yeah, it's the classic case of it doesn't matter if you break because I can restart it. But here's the point though. All Akabe has to do is bring back Hoen Kiyoma. Hoen Kiyoma will break the chain. That's the problem. Leskinen! You!
そんな顔をしても誰も助けには来ない。
Don't make that face. No one is coming to help you.
ここは我々ストラット4が管理する場所だからね。
This place is under Stratfor's control.
我々以外には誰も知らない。
No one knows about it but us.
誰もだ。
No one. The way he highlighted no one there tells me that's not true. Come on, best girl, time to do one of your interventions. I was too stunned to think. There was nowhere to run. My knees shook in terror as I imagined what was about to happen to me. Maybe it would have been better to die. And then I felt sick as I remembered that I was fated not to die until 2025. If no amount of torture could kill me, this was literally hell. And now we go back to Maho. And well, this will be very interesting to see what happens in her sideline, won't it? Let's get a quick save in here while we can. Her head hurt. Maho knelt down, closed her eyes, and bit her lips to shut out the pain. Now, Akabe did actually say to her, go to the lab, Daru and Miyuri would love to see her. If she gets that connection as a memory, and she goes back and Suzuha's there, we suddenly have an avenue. There was an annoying noise in her head that wouldn't go away. It sounded like rain. It made the headache worse. No matter how much she covered her ears, she couldn't block it out. She wanted to scream from the pain, but she held it in because she thought it would only make her headache worse. She could hear a voice mixed in with the noise. It was Dr. Leskinen's.
いいかい、マホ。君はどんな手段を使ってでも、リンタロウ・オカベが抱えている秘密を暴くんだ。
Listen, Maho. You need to find out Lintaro Akabe's secret, no matter what it takes.
でないと、彼を殺さなくてはいけなくなる。そんなのは嫌だろ
If you can't, I'll have to kill him. You don't want that, right?
君もリンタロウのことを随分と気にかけていたじゃないか。
You seem to really like Lintaro, didn't you?
散々私やクリスが煽ったからね。君にその気などなくてもついつい意識してしまうものさ。それが人の心理だ。
Me and Chris kept bringing it up. After all, even if you weren't interested in him originally, you couldn't help but think about him. That's how the human mind works.
彼を助ける意味でも、彼の持つ情報を引き出してほしい。
And to save him, I want you to find out what he knows.
そうしたら私は、リンタロウを我が研究室に無条件で迎え入れてあげてもいい。
If you do that, I'm willing to bring him to my lab unconditionally.
マホ、彼について知り得たことは、すべて私に報告しなさい。
Maho, tell me everything you learn from him.
彼の未来は 君の手にかかっていると言ってもいい。
You could say his future is in your hands. Apologies if that creeped you out. I tried to do like a more distant, frazzled version of the voice I've got for him, which was already kind of creepy as it was. I apologise if that made you have nightmares. Like just Monica. The voice and the noise were extremely unpleasant. She couldn't really understand what the voice was saying. She could hear him speaking, but her brain refused to compute the meaning of the words. But it didn't matter either way. Maho had done something terrible to Rintaro Okabe. She'd sold him out to Dr. Leskinen and Stratfor. And the fact that she knew it just made her guilt worse. She wanted to disappear from the world altogether.
Maho-san?
Maho? Eh? She was on a busy street in Akihabara in early summer, leaning on the side of a building in the shade when she heard someone call her name.
やっぱり真帆さんだ。
I knew it was you, Maho.
まゆりさん。
Yuri. She didn't expect to see me Yuri here, so she didn't know how to respond. She just looked back and stared.
具合悪いんですか？
Are you not feeling well?
大丈夫よ。
I'm fine.
オカリンを見ませんでしたか？
Have you seen Ocarine? Huh? Maho went completely still. Miyuri's innocent question reminded her of her own stupidity and cowardice.
どうして？
Why? The old Hi Miyuri comment, Queen. I thought Miyuri wasn't someone you liked. Or has she suddenly become a secret favourite of yours? Her voice was shaking.
オカリン、昨日から連絡つかなくて。
I haven't been able to get a hold of Ocarine since yesterday.
お家にも帰ってないし、電話も出ないし、メールや LINE にも返事来ないんです。
He hasn't gone home. He hasn't picked up the phone. And he's not answering text messages online.
ダル君は心配しすぎだって言うんだけど、なんだか胸騒ぎがするのです。
Dara says I'm worrying too much, but something doesn't feel right.
だから今日は学校を早退してこの辺りをずっと探してました。
So I left school early today, and now I'm searching around here. Yeah, fair enough, Queen. That's a good reason. You say it's foreboding. Let's say, I have the feeling that Mayuri is Kenny from South Park. So, sorry, Mayuri fans, but I don't think she's going to be around much longer. Even with the timeline suggesting she's here till 2036. It was still only July, but it was pretty hot. She'd been wandering around all of Akihabara in this heat? Shina Miyuri was a kind, pure-hearted girl. That was the impression Maho had. She would never betray someone, get jealous, or let someone use her.
知りたい？
Do you wanna know? Huh? Miyuri leaned forward.
真帆さん、オカリンのこと何か知ってるんですか？
Maho, do you know where Ocarine is?
もし知ってるなら教えてください。
If you know, please tell me.
お願いします。
Please. She bowed deeply.
そうか。
I see. And then she realised, and wished she hadn't. Miyuri was in love with Akabe Rintaro. A dull pain ran down her temples.
君も 郎のことを随分と気にかけていたじゃないか。
You seemed to really like Lintaro, didn't you? She could hear the noise in her head. Just tell me, Yuri, everything. And then have this innocent girl tell you how horrible you are. Maybe you'll feel better then. The idea raced through Maho's mind. Even as she knew it was wrong. She tried to hold back her headache as she opened her mouth.
ゆうべ深夜岡部さんと一緒だったの。
I was with Akabe late last night. Oh! Yeah, in my hotel room. We're going full Mean Girls here, people.
そうなんですか。それでオカリンは今どこに？
Were you? So where is he now? Maho ignored her question.
岡部さんは昨日私にこんな話をしてくれたわ。
This is what he told me last night. No.
彼が経験してきた別の世界において椎名真由里さん、あなたは何度も死んだんですって。
He told me about another world he'd experienced, where you, Shina Miyuri, had died again and again. Don't tell her.
何度やっても助けられず、あなたは死に続けた。
No matter what he did, he couldn't save you. You can't tell her this.
その悪夢のようなループから抜け出すために、
To escape that nightmarish loop,
あなたを救うために。
to save you. Yeah, here it comes. It was like another person was speaking using Maho's mouth.
岡部さんはクリスのことを犠牲にしたんだって。見殺しにしたんだって。
Akabe sacrificed Chris. He let her die.
そんな話をしてくれた。
That's what he told me.
タイムマシンを作り、クリスをもう一度救おうとすれば、またあの頃に逆戻りしてしまう。
If he makes a time machine and tries to save Chris again, he'll go back to all that. You're hurting her. But the words didn't stop.
岡部さんはそのことをひどく恐れている。
Akabe is so afraid of that.
あなたを必死で守ろうとしている。
He's doing everything he can to protect you.
ここはあなたを守るために他の多くのものを犠牲にして選択された世界なのよ。
This is the world he chose. After sacrificing many things to protect you.
あなたは何も知らされていないだろうけど。
I'm sure he didn't tell you any of that, though.
嘘。
That's not true!
そんな。
No!
おかり。
Ocarine! Mayuri was too shocked to speak. She looked like she was about to cry at any instant. Suddenly, Mayuri turned around and started to walk away with slumped shoulders. Even from behind her, Maho could tell she was having trouble walking straight. The truth was so cruel that confronting it threatened her very identity. That's how it seemed to Maho. Maho was still in a trance. It felt like there was a fog was covering everything she saw. It was all out of focus. Like a mirage. If someone told her it was a dream, she would easily believe it. And yep, absolutely, Queen. Mayuri would blame herself. She'd say, if it wasn't for me, Chris would still be alive. And in the other world line, Chris would be saying, if it wasn't for me, Mayuri would be alive. The same was true of her own mind. She knew she should feel worse about what she just told Mayuri. But while she realised she'd hurt her, she felt no emotion. So it seems that Dr. Leskinen's created a sociopathy machine. Because this here, right here, is classic sociopathy. She's completely hurt somebody, and it means nothing to her. She was in complete control. Well, sorry. Complete control. It's essentially the symptoms of sociopathy. That was probably why she was able to say something so awful. And then the phone in her pocket began to vibrate. She looked and saw it was from Amadeus. From Chris. Oh God. Wakia? Really? Wakia? She felt a small, thin needle prick her paralysed heart. Eh? She couldn't answer it. And I can't choose to. That's what's really annoying. See? Pick up the phone. Not working. How could she? She stared at the LCD screen, unable to move her fingers even a centimetre. Oh, that's true, Queen, yeah. She had no control over telling Mayuri, but it's like this, it's basically everything afterwards. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like it's pretty much sociopathy, with the only difference being someone else is controlling them. So it's like an ultimate sociopath making someone else a sociopath. There's an interesting idea for a story. A sociopath makes other people sociopaths. How could I answer it? She couldn't let Chris see her like this. But even so, it felt wrong to just stay here. Mahal decided to go after Mayuri. Interesting. But by the time she made it to the overpass, Mayuri was already gone. Since she was right in front of the station, there were many people around, and it would have been impossible to find her. But with that hat and that hair and that dress? Come on, seriously? Why did you come up to me? If you hadn't talked to me, you wouldn't have had to suffer. And see, that's quite sociopathic. It's like, you're suffering because you came to me. You chose to walk up and listen. I didn't make you. It's a detached puppet is the same kind of thing. It's a good point there, Queen. Yeah, definitely. But it's the way it's worded. You can definitely draw parallels to sociopathy. I think that's probably the best way to do it. To call it a parallel, rather than say it's 100%. It's parallel, very similar. I mean, another word for sociopathy is antisocial behaviour disorder, and I suppose it's kind of similar, but not the same. I'm not who I used to be. She looked down over the station from the overpass and whispered to herself. And then she saw someone in a distinctive outfit approaching her. Best girl? No, it's the motorcyclist. They were wearing a black motorcycle suit and black full-face helmet despite the heat. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Kagari is back. And I'm sorry, but how can you miss this? A full black motorcycle suit is not common. She thought it might have been a cosplayer, but instead of trying to take pictures, the people nearby were avoiding them. Now, ironically, that could be a cosplay, believe it or not. The TV show Top Gear, for its first 2 seasons, had a different Stig that was all in black. So technically, it could actually be a cosplay. Given a closer look, the person appeared to be a woman. Even Maho could tell that she had incredible proportions. Do we really need to know that? Seriously? The woman walked under the overpass and vanished from Maho's view. Well, she wasn't walking towards her then, was she? And then she came up the stairs. Right toward Maho. Maho quickly walked away, like the other pedestrians, and tried to run away. But before she could, the woman in a motorcycle suit ran over and wordlessly grabbed her hand. There was a pain in her cheek. She was caught off guard and staggered to the ground. Ah, so you reckon that the shirt... Is it an anime that Durara, the main character, wore a suit like that? Yes, I've not seen that, so I can't comment, but fair point. At first she didn't know what had happened. She rubbed her aching cheek, and only then did she realise that the woman in the motorcycle suit had slapped her. You hurt Mommy, didn't you? She could hear a muffled female voice from within the helmet. I'll kill you! Her voice was very calm, which only terrified Maho more. The professor told me about you, but it doesn't matter. Who are you? Because she was wearing a helmet, Maho couldn't read her facial expression. Since the visor was lowered, she couldn't even see her eyes. There was no answer to her question. Instead, the woman looked up to the sky, as if she'd noticed something. Maho looked up too. Oh, helicopters. For a moment, it seemed as if a black shadow crossed the windows of the building. She could hear a helicopter. It was close. And that is an Apache gunship. That's serious military kit. That's a 50 caliber Gatling gun, and it's got rockets from there. That's a serious piece of military kit. How long had it been there? Not very long, trust me. It'll have literally rose up and come in, because that's what they're designed to do. They're known as gunships for a reason. She hadn't noticed it at all, and then she felt the air around her change. Steiner? The pedestrians were all looking toward the station, in fear and shock. She could hear people saying things like, "What's that? Are they filming a TV show? Some kind of cosplayer that..." No. There is no cosplayer on Earth who can afford to hire an Apache gunship for their con. I've seen Toyota Supras, I've seen replicas of Iron Man armor suit, I've seen replicas of movie sets, but I've never seen an Apache gunship. Not even at San Diego Comic-Con. No con has that kind of budget. Something was going on at the station. Maho stood up and looked too. What is that? An avian, yeah, it would suggest the world lines merging because they were at war, weren't they? She found herself whispering the same thing as the others. Yeah, military trucks. There were 2 trucks painted a deep military green parked outside the station. Men were coming out of them dressed in camo and carrying weapons. And they're pretty heavy pieces of kit as well. They look like they're going to be M16s, judging by the, what do they call them there? The stocks. Judging by the stocks and the scopes and the length of the clip. At first, she thought it might have been the self-defense force, but the men weren't Japanese. It was hard to believe that what she was seeing was taking place in Japan. The men in camo disappeared into the alleyways as everyone watched from a safe distance. They were headed toward the radio building. Maho had heard from Ritara yesterday that the time machine was there. Ding, ding, ding. Time for Suzuha to piss off.
まさかストラト4
Was that Stratfor? Or Russia? Or perhaps another country's military? Were they here because Maho had told Leskinen what she'd learned from Ritaro? As soon as the thought crossed her mind, she was hit with another terrible headache. It was all her fault. Everything was her fault. Until a moment ago, everything had seemed so hazy. But now she felt crushed by overwhelming guilt. Intriguing question in the comments from Online Guy. Nice tag. Where's the Shaman Girls at, Einstein? Shaman Girls? Sounds like Chrono Trigger, that to me. Yeah, if Ayla appears and starts saying me Ayla, I'll be quite happy with that, actually. If Akabe was right, and the Third World War was going to begin here in Akihabara, it was because she gave the information he shared with her to Stratfor. She suddenly realised that the girl who threatened to kill her had run down the stairs and toward the station. Maho never did figure out who she was. And then her phone started to vibrate again. It was from Chris. She wanted to get away from the guild, and so this time, she picked up the phone.
先輩
Maho!
クリス
Chris!
大丈夫ですか
Are you okay?
何が
What do you mean?
一体どうしちゃったんですか
What happened to you?
どうもしないわ
Nothing!
だって泣いてるじゃないですか
But you're crying. Huh? Only then did she realise that her eyes were overflowing with tears. VOYFYI. If that's a spoiler, Mary, you will be out of here. Otherwise, I've no idea. VOY? Voice of you, maybe? The fog over her mind was now totally gone, and all that was left was the guilt, the regret, and the headaches.
頭が痛いの
My head hurts.
彼の未来は君の手にかかっていると言ってもいい。
You could say his future is in your hands. Yeah, it does have bottish, doesn't it? Well, we'll see. There's only 2 comments there. If they get out of hand, I will kick them out. She heard the noise again.
岡部をどうしたんです
Where's Kabe? What happened to him?
岡部さんのことなんてどうでもいいでしょ
Who cares about Akabe?
殺そうとしてたじゃないですか私見たんですよ
You tried to kill him. I saw it.
私のことは放っておいて
Leave me alone.
そういうわけにはいきません
I can't do that.
放っておいてよ
Just leave me alone.
あなたには勝てなかった
I couldn't beat you.
私はどれだけやってもクリスにかなわない
No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't be better than you.
ねえクリス
You know, Chris,
私はあなたのことを尊敬している私より年下だけど大した科学者だと思うわ
I respect you. You're younger than me, but I think you're an incredible scientist.
でも心の底では
こう思ってたのよ。
But at the bottom of my heart, this is what I used to think.
どうして私の前に現れたの？
Why did you have to show up?
どうしてあと10年先に現れてくれなかったの？
Why didn't you come 10 years before?
どうしてあと10年後に現れてくれなかったの？
Why didn't you come 10 years later?
あなたがいなければ私はもっと平凡な日々を送っていたはずなのに。
If it weren't for you, I would have had a more peaceful life.
こんな醜い感情になんか支配されずに済んだのにって。
Then these awful feelings would take control of me.
私はあなたに常識を破壊されっぱなしなの。
Everything I thought I knew, you destroyed.
死んでまであなたの存在が私につきまとうの。
And even though you're dead, you're still with me.
あなたの死を心から悼みたいのにそれができない。
I want to just be sorry that you're gone, but I can't.
越えられない壁としてあなたが立ちはだかり続けていて、
There's still this wall that I can't overcome.
プライドと意地が邪魔をしてしまうの。
My pride and my stubbornness get in the way.
そんなところにつけ込まれて私は一番信頼していた人にまで裏切られて、
And the,
私を信頼してくれた友達を裏切ってしまった。
and the man I trusted the most took advantage of that to betray me. And I betrayed a friend who trusted me.
私頭がぐちゃぐちゃよ。
I can't even think straight anymore.
放っておいてよ。
So leave me alone.
先輩。
Maho. She was getting far too emotional. Normally she'd never behave like this, but she couldn't stop herself. Sounds like gunfire to me. She heard an explosion in the distance. The people around her started to scream, panic, and run. The flames from the explosion were coming from the direction of the men in camo had gone. Did they do it? The helicopter sounds were getting louder. Glimpses of their dark, agile bodies had flashed in and out of Maho's vision for a little while now. And then she started to hear loud gunfire. It was more than one or two people shooting. There was a battle going on between many people, taking place here in front of Akihabara Station. It was like the beginning of a war. If what Akabe said was true, Amane Suzuha might be in a time machine, and she might be caught up in the battle. She wondered about the woman in the motorcycle suit too. She started to stagger, still didn't know what she was planning, but she needed to take responsibility for what she'd done. The elevators in the radio building were broken. Maho had no choice but to take the stairs to the roof. But maybe the power had been cut, because the lights were off on every floor. She could hear sporadic sounds of gunfire from the floors above. Strangely, nobody came running past her to escape. There were several shops in the building, and of course, there should have been customers there. But despite the fact that the elevators weren't working, had they all evacuated earlier? Or were they all hiding somewhere and waiting for the terror to end? That was what she thought about as she sweated her way up the stairs. Just before she reached the roof, she saw someone for the first time. Mummy! Mummies! She was sitting on the stairs, cradling her knees. For some reason, her voice was muffled, but it did seem to be a woman's voice. Why for some reason she's wearing a helmet? We've already established that. Her head seemed big and round in the darkness. It was a moment before she realised that it was a full-face helmet. Oh. Stupid me, I guess. Oh. That was when she realised it was the woman in the motorcycle suit from before. Mommy! Where are you? Mommy! She seemed like a totally different person than the woman she'd met before. All she did was sob and cry for her mother.
ねえ、何が起きているの？
Hey, what's going on? Mommy, where are you? Mommy! Tell me! She shouted louder, and only then did the woman realise she was there. But she didn't even stand up. Mommy's gone! The time machine was destroyed. The time machine was destroyed?
あなたのママって誰のこと？
Who's your mommy?
天音鈴葉さん？
Is it Amane Suzuha?
違うよ。
No,
ママって言ったらまゆりママに決まってるじゃん。
it's Mommy Mayuri, of course. Maho's blood ran cold when she heard the name Mayuri.
まゆりさんがここに。
Mayuri's here? If that was true, she would have come here after she learned the truth from Maho.
私のせいだ。
It's my fault. Maho put her hands to her head.
私があんなことを言わなければまゆりさんは。
If I hadn't said that, Mayuri wouldn't have. The woman in the motorcycle suit stood up and approached her menacingly.
そうだ。お前が岡部倫太郎から情報を引き出して、それで事態が一気に動き出しちゃったんだ。
That's right. You got the information out of the Kabe Rinsaro, and that's what began all this. Give me back my mommy! The girl grabbed her by the collar and lifted her off the ground. There wasn't anything she could say. Mommy! When she didn't answer, the woman let go and fell to the ground crying. Things would be so much easier if she just killed me here. Her mind was in such chaos that she couldn't stop herself from thinking it. She couldn't stay calm at all. And the last thing she clung to was...
Chris.
Chris.
先輩。
Maho. The AI from Makise Karisu's memory data. Maybe she was still thinking about their last discussion because she seemed upset. She wasn't saying anything. So Maho gave up the last of her pride.
クリス。どうしたらいい？
Chris, what do I do?
いろいろなことが起こりすぎて、私一人じゃもうどうにもできない。
Too much has happened, and there's nothing I can do on my own anymore.
自分のしてしまったことなんだから、せめて責任を取りたいの。
At least, I want to take responsibility for what I've done. And then she realized that she was still being proud and corrected herself.
私は
She asked herself, what do I want to do?
私は岡部さんを助けたい。まゆりさんも助けたい。二人に謝って許してもらいたい。
I want to save Akabe. I want to save Mayuri. I want to apologize to both of them, so they'll forgive me.
それとクリス
And Chris,
あなたのことも助けたいの
I want to save you, too.
だから力を貸してお願いよ
So help me, please. So Maho's going to be the time traveler, it would seem.
先輩が私に助言を求めるなんて
You're asking me for help. Chris's eyes were wide. That's right. Her pride had kept her from ever asking Chris for help before. And it was the same with Chris too. And knowing Chris's personality, if Maho asked for help, she'd use every bit of brain power she had to give it.
教えてちょうだい
Come on, tell me.
あなたなら解決策を提示できるでしょ
You can give me some solution, right? That's why they said Makise Chris was a genius. She was a woman who made the impossible possible. Queen? Are you responsible for writing this game? Is that you? I'm not saying exactly why, because I don't want to spoil something, but you'll know exactly what I'm getting at there. Maho waited for Chris's answer. The last hope. The last thing left in Pandora's box. She waited for Chris to give her the answer. But
無理ですよ
it's impossible. Maho was struck dumb for a moment. Then she realised how selfish she was being and hated herself for it. She'd expected too much of Chris and tried to put all the burden on her. And just a few moments ago, she'd been the one who rejected Chris.
そうよね
Yeah, you're right.
その答えは当然だわ
Of course that's what you'd say.
ごめんねクリス
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris.
私あなたにひどいことを言ったのに
I was so horrible to
あ
you.
なたが無条件で協力してくれると勝手に思い込んで
And then I stupidly thought that you'd help me unconditionally.
無条件には協力します
I'll help you unconditionally. What?
今なんて
What did you just say?
先輩に頼まれたら断ることなんてできませんよ
I can't turn down a request for help from you.
岡部や椎名真由里さんのことを助けたいのも同じ気持ちです
And I want to save Akabe and Shina Miyuri too.
でも
But
じゃあ
then
気持ちとしては協力したいんですが
I'd love to help, but
残念ながら私が協力することで先輩が不利な状況に追い込まれます
unfortunately, my help would just make things worse.
私はストラト4に常にモニタリングされてるんです
I'm being constantly monitored by Stratfor.
常に
Constantly?
私が誰かとこうして対話をしている間ストラト4に無条件で情報が送信されてしまう
Whenever I'm talking to someone like this, all the information is transferred to Stratfor. Daru! You're up! The super hacker needs to find a way around this.
アマデウスのアプリにはそういう隠し機能があるんです
There's a hidden function in the Amadeus app that does that. Even Maho hadn't known that existed.
だから先輩が岡部を助けに行こうと思ってもレスキネイ教授に筒抜けになってしまうんです
So if you try to help Akabe, that's a Leskinen will know all about it. And yeah, it's a fair point where it's like, of course I can't expect you. Yes, you fucking can. Very stubborn of Chris there, wasn't it? But yes, there was one particular line that Maho said about Chris that made me say, did you write this game, Queen? There was one particular reference to another visual novel, shall we say.
But then what do I do?
でも逆にそれを利用して手を打てます。
But if you're willing to take advantage of that, there's something we can do.
先輩、私を信頼してくれますか？
Maho, will you trust me?
先輩、
Maho.
Yeah,
あなただけが頼りを。
you're all I've got.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
ちなみにこの対話内容もバッチリ盗み聞きされてるはずです。
By the way, I'm sure this conversation is being monitored as well.
What?
そんな。じゃあもしあなたが私に協力するのがバレたら。
But then, if they know you're helping me...
パターンとしては3つ。
There are 3 possibilities.
サーバーからデータを移動させて隔離状態にされるか、
They could take my data off the server and isolate me,
または古いバージョンの記憶データで上書きされてしまうか。
or overwrite my data with an older version of my memories.
最悪の場合には私という存在そのものを消されるかもしれませんね。
In the worst case, they could delete me entirely.
そんな。
No!
大丈夫です。
Don't worry,
あなたは必ず自分で立ち上がれる人だから。
you're capable of standing up on your own 2 feet.
私のことなんかどうでもいいわ。あなたの心配をしているのよ。
I'm not worried about me! I'm worried about you!
私はただのデータですよ。でもありがとうございます。
I'm nothing but data, but thank you. The Chris on the screen bowed and smiled.
私は真帆先輩と一緒に研究できたことを誇りに思います。
I'm proud that I was able to work with you, Maho.
何よ、その根性の別れみたいな言い方。やめなさいよ。
What? What? Don't talk like it's the last time we're ever gonna see each other!
もう会えないかもしれませんから。
Well, it might be.
私はあなたのことが嫌いよ。
I hate you!
そうやっていつだって私を置いて先に行ってしまうのだから。
You always do this! You always go and leave me behind!
But that's who Makise Kurisu was. When Maho had asked for her help, both she and Chris should have been prepared. That's why.
いつか必ず私はあなたに追いついてやるわ。
Someday, I'll catch up to you!
それどころか追い越してやるから。
No! I'll surpass you!
それまで待ってなさい。
Just you wait!
はい。
Yeah.
Chris smiled once more and disappeared from the screen. Maho wiped away her tears and thwapped the crying girl next to her on the helmet.
いつまで泣いているの。
How long are you gonna keep crying?
あなたはまゆりさんを助けたいんでしょ。
You wanna save Mayuri, right?
だったら私に協力して。
So help me.
協力。
Help you?
まず岡部さんを助けるわ。
First, we need to find Akabe.
彼なら今の事態を何とかする方法を提示してくれるはず。
He should be able to show us how to get out of this.
知ってるの。プラト4のアジトどこにあるのか。
But, do you know where Stratfor's hideout is?
私は知らない。
I don't.
私だって知らないわ。
Neither do I.
But Maho grabbed the girl by the hand and helped her up, then raced down the stairs.
知らないけどすぐに私の可愛い後輩が調べて教えてくれる。
I don't know, but my friend is going to find me the answer soon.
She told me to believe in her. Makise Kurisu wouldn't betray me.
Eh?
As soon as she left the radio building, she got a message on her line. The gunfire was continuing. As she hurried away, she looked down at her phone.
Akabe is in the basement of Tokyo Denki. I just learned this now. I followed their monitoring to find their location. Take care of Kabi for me. Teach that damn pervert of a oppressor what happens between times who watch me all the time. When she read it, she smiled despite everything that was going on.
ありがとうクリス
Thank you, Chris.
ありがとう
Thank you. She clutched the phone tightly to her chest, but then she quickly changed gears.
ストラト4のアジトがどこか分かったわ
I found a Stratfor hideout.
教えて
Tell me where it is.
乗り込んで見逃れ禁止
I'll go there and kill everyone inside. Maho shivered at the ice in her words. She felt a bottomless madness coming from the woman in the motorcycle suit. But for now, she had to cooperate with her. There was no way she could get Rintaro back from Maho on her own.
行きましょう
Let's go! She needed to take responsibility for the future she'd created. To avoid that cruel future. Maho ran through the streets of Akihabara, where a war was already beginning. And well, we know that the cavalry are coming. We know that they are all trying to ride to the rescue. And that is an excellent place for us to say farewell for this evening. Yes, I'm doing it. Hate me in the comments as much as you can. So, we're going to be back here on Wednesday evening at 8 PM GMT to find out just what's going on with Akabe and what they've been doing to him. And are the girls going to get there in time? Until then, thank you all very, very much for watching. And good night.